Your dog's grooming routine could be the reason they end up at the vet, and most owners have no idea. I'm talking skin infections, ear disease, broken nails that bleed, dental disease that quietly destroys their heart and kidneys. All of it traced back to one thing, a grooming routine that was either skipped, done wrong, or done at the wrong frequency. But here's the good news. You don't need to be a professional groomer, and you don't need to spend a fortune at the salon every week. What you need is a system, a simple, step-by-step routine that actually works for your dog. That's exactly what I'm breaking down for you today, from brushing and bathing to nails, ears, teeth, and paws. Everything in the right order, with the right frequency. Stick with me all the way to the end because I'm also sharing the one grooming mistake almost every dog owner makes, and it's completely avoidable. Before we jump in, if you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a video. And if you already have a dog at home, drop their breed in the comments right now. I read every single one. Alright, let's get into it. First things first. A lot of people think grooming is just about making their dog look pretty. It's not. Grooming is a health practice, and in 2026, the gold standard has shifted entirely toward personalized, proactive care. When you groom your dog regularly, you're doing several things at once. You're distributing their natural skin oils across the coat, which keeps fur healthy and shiny. You're removing dead skin, allergens, and debris that build up and cause irritation. You're stimulating blood circulation. And most importantly, you're examining your dog's body up close, which means you catch problems early. Think about this. Groomers frequently discover ear infections, skin lumps, fleas, tick bites, and cracked paws that owners never noticed. These aren't small things. Caught early, they're easy fixes. Caught late, they become expensive, painful problems. Here's a stat that puts it in perspective. According to industry data, pet owners in the US spend over $15 billion annually on grooming and boarding. And the biggest shift happening right now is the move away from one-size-fits-all grooming toward care that's tailored to your individual dog's coat type, skin condition, and lifestyle. That's the 2026 standard. And that's what we're building today. So let's go through it. Coat and brushing, bathing, nail care, ears, teeth, and paws. Every single one matters. Step 1, and honestly the most important habit, is brushing. The American Kennel Club recommends brushing your dog at least every couple of days, no matter the coat length. Even short-haired dogs benefit from regular brushing. For most dogs, aim for 2 to 3 times per week. But if your dog has a curly coat, like a poodle or a doodle, you need to do it daily, and I'll explain why in a second. Here's why consistency matters. When you brush infrequently, fur mats up. Mats aren't just ugly, they pull on the skin, cause pain, and can even restrict blood circulation in severe cases. Dense mats can also hide skin infections underneath. So brush regularly. What brush should you use? This is where a lot of people go wrong. They grab whatever's on sale, and it doesn't match their dog's coat. Here's a quick breakdown. The slicker brush is great for detangling and works well on most coat types. It's your best tool for breaking apart small mats before they become big problems. The pin brush is best for longer coats. The round-ended pins glide through without scratching the skin. The bristle brush is for short to medium coats. Great for removing loose hair and distributing natural oils. The shedding blade or de-shedding tool is for heavy shedders, huskies, German shepherds, Labradors. Use this when they're blowing their coat in spring or fall. In 2026, vacuum-assisted grooming tools have also gone mainstream for these breeds. They pull loose undercoat out while vacuuming it up at the same time, which is a serious time saver and keeps your house cleaner. How to brush properly. Always brush all the way down to the skin. Don't just skim the surface. This massaging action stimulates blood circulation and loosens dandruff and dead skin. Work section by section, and if you hit a tangle, don't yank. Use your fingers or a slicker brush to gently work through it from the tip inward. Now, if you have a doodle or any curly-coated dog, this breed group is one of the most popular in 2026, and they come with a specific brushing challenge. The technique you need is called line brushing. You part the coat in sections, literally a line at a time, and brush from the skin outward with each section before moving to the next. It's more methodical than general brushing, but it's the only way to guarantee you're not leaving hidden mats deep in that coaly coat. If you have a doodle and you're not line brushing, you're likely building up mats you can't even see yet. Keep sessions positive. Use treats. Praise your dog throughout. Especially if you're building the habit with a younger dog or a rescue that's new to handling, keep it short and end on a good note. Next up, baths. And this is where I see a lot of confusion. The sweet spot for most dogs is a bath every 4 to 8 weeks. Dogs with oilier skin, like Basset Hounds, might need one closer to every 4 weeks. Dogs with naturally dry skin or double-coated breeds like Huskies can go 6 to 8 weeks or even longer. Here's what you should not do. Bathe your dog every week unless your vet has a medical reason for it. Overbathing strips the natural oils from their coat, which leads to dry, flaky, irritated skin. That creates a whole new set of problems. Always use dog-specific shampoo. Human shampoos, even gentle ones, have a different pH balance from what your dog's skin needs. Using the wrong shampoo regularly will disrupt their skin barrier and cause irritation. Choose a shampoo that matches your dog's coat and skin type. And here's a 2026 update worth knowing. Probiotic shampoos are now widely available and specifically formulated to support the skin's natural microbiome, which helps maintain the skin's protective barrier and reduces flare-ups in dogs with sensitivities. If your dog has recurring skin issues, this is worth asking your vet about. Bath time step by step. Step 1. Brush first. Always brush before the bath. Wet fur tightens loose tangles and turns small knots into serious mats. A quick pre-bath brush saves you a lot of trouble. Step 2. Use lukewarm water. Not hot, not cold. Test it on your wrist. Step 3. Protect the ears. Place a large cotton ball in each ear to keep water out. This is a pro tip that could save you a vet visit. Water trapped in the ear canal is a leading cause of otitis externa. That's what vets call swimmer's ear in dogs, and it's especially common in floppy-eared breeds like Cocker Spaniels and Goldens. Step 4. Protect the eyes. Use a damp washcloth to gently wipe the face instead of pouring water over it. If your vet recommends it, a sterile eye lubricant during baths can protect sensitive eyes from shampoo. Step 5. Rinse thoroughly. Shampoo residue left on the skin is a common cause of itching and irritation. Rinse until the water runs completely clear. Step 6. Dry properly. Towel dry first, then use a blow dryer on the lowest heat setting if your dog will tolerate it. Never let a dog with a thick coat air dry while it's cold. Staying damp too long causes skin issues and serious discomfort. One more tip. If your dog had a particularly muddy walk, you don't need a full bath every time. A damp towel wiped down to remove surface dirt and debris is perfectly fine for in-between maintenance. Okay, nail trimming. I know. This is the one that stresses most dog owners out the most. But neglecting nails is one of the most damaging things you can do for your dog's long-term health. When nails grow too long, they force the dog's toes to splay apart, which throws off their entire gait. Over time, this causes joint pain, posture problems, and arthritis, especially in older dogs. And if a nail breaks or curls back into the paw pad, it's a trip to the vet. How often? Nail checks every 2 to 4 weeks. Here's the most practical test in all of dog grooming. If you can hear your dog's nails clicking on the floor as they walk, they're too long. Time to trim. How to trim safely. Use a nail clipper that feels comfortable in your hand, with a sharp blade and a clear sight line so you can see exactly where you're cutting. Never use dull clippers. They crush the nail instead of cutting it cleanly, and that's uncomfortable for the dog. The key thing to avoid is the blood vessel running through the center of the nail. On dogs with clear or white nails, you can see it as a pinkish area. On dark nails, you can't see it, so trim small amounts at a time and work your way back gradually. Now here's a 2026 update that's been a game changer for a lot of owners. Smart nail grinders with built-in sensors that detect the quick are now on the market. They buzz or stop automatically before you get close to the blood vessel, which makes the whole process much less stressful, especially for nervous owners or dogs with dark nails. If the idea of clippers still makes you anxious, a smart grinder might be worth the investment. Always keep styptic powder on hand regardless. If you accidentally nick the quick, it bleeds and styptic powder stops it fast. Don't panic. It happens even to experienced groomers. For first-timers or nervous dogs, introduce the clippers or grinder slowly. Let your dog sniff them, hear the sound, and feel them against their paw before you ever start trimming. Work one paw at a time. Use treats liberally. It might take a week or more before you complete all 4 paws, and that's completely fine. The goal is a calm, positive experience.
Ears.
This is the grooming step that gets skipped the most, and it's one of the most important, especially for certain breeds. Dogs with floppy ears, Cocker Spaniels, Basset Hounds, Golden Retrievers, are significantly more prone to ear infections because the ear flap traps moisture and limits airflow. Cully-coated breeds like poodles can also grow hair inside the ear canal that traps dirt and debris. How often should you check? Every week. Flip the ear back and take a look and a sniff. A healthy ear looks clean and smells neutral. If you see dark discharge, redness, swelling, or smell something yeasty or foul, that is an infection, and it needs veterinary attention, not more home cleaning. How to clean ears at home. Use a veterinarian-recommended liquid ear cleaner. Not cotton swabs, not plain water, and not hydrogen peroxide directly in the canal. Soak a cotton ball or cotton pad with a cleaner and wipe gently along the underside of the ear flap and the outer portion of the canal. Lift dirt and wax away, don't rub it deeper. Critical rule: never insert anything into the ear canal itself. No cotton swabs. No fingers. The inner ear is delicate, and probing into the canal risks rupturing the eardrum and causing serious damage. Leave deep ear cleaning entirely to your vet or groomer. And remember those cotton balls during bath time? They're your best defense against the water in the ear problem that triggers so many infections. Let's talk teeth. And I want you to take this section seriously because dental disease in dogs is far more common and far more dangerous than most people realize. Research in 2025 and into 2026 has further confirmed the link between periodontal bacteria and systemic organ failure. Poor dental hygiene doesn't just cause bad breath and tooth pain. The bacteria from plaque and gum disease enter the bloodstream and over time can damage the heart and kidneys. We're talking about real, life-shortening consequences from skipped toothbrushing. The target is to brush your dog's teeth 2 to 3 times per week. Daily is ideal, but 2 to 3 times per week makes a genuine, measurable difference. How to do it? Use a dog-specific toothpaste. Chicken or peanut butter-flavored ones work great for getting dogs to cooperate. Never use human toothpaste. It contains xylitol and fluoride, both of which are toxic to dogs. Use a soft dog toothbrush or a finger brush. Angle it at 45 degrees toward the gum line and use small circular motions, focusing on the outer surfaces of the teeth. Most dogs don't love this at first. Build up slowly. Start with letting them lick the toothpaste off your finger, then gently touch their teeth, then do short brushing sessions before working up to a full routine. What if your dog absolutely won't tolerate brushing? Dental chews can help reduce plaque and tartar as a supplement. Look specifically for ones with the VOHC seal. That stands for Veterinary Oral Health Council, which means the product has been independently tested and proven to work. But dental chews are not a replacement for brushing. They're a helpful addition, not a substitute. And once a year, have your dog's teeth professionally examined by a vet. If they recommend a dental cleaning, make sure it is an anesthetic dental cleaning. Anesthesia-free cleanings, which you may have seen advertised, are widely criticized by veterinary professionals. They're purely cosmetic because the vet cannot safely clean below the gum line without anesthesia, which is where the real bacterial damage happens. So when your vet recommends a proper dental cleaning, do not be put off by the anesthesia. It is the only way to do it safely and effectively. Last but absolutely not least, paws. Your dog walks on them all day, every day, and they take a serious beating. After every walk, do a quick paw check. Look between the toes for embedded debris, rocks, thorns, glass, burrs. In winter, check for ice balls and salt from treated sidewalks. In summer, check the pads for burns from hot pavement. And yes, this is a real concern. Asphalt and concrete in 2026 summers can reach temperatures that cause pad burns within minutes. A simple rule: if the pavement is too hot for your bare foot, it's too hot for your dog's paws. Walk during cooler morning or evening hours on hot days, or use dog booties if needed. In winter, prolonged exposure to road salt causes cracking and irritation. Rinse the paws with warm water after salted walks and pat them dry. Excessive hair growing between the toes is also worth addressing. It collects debris, becomes matted, and causes dogs to slip on smooth flooring. Trim this hair to be even with the paw pads using small blunt-edged scissors. Carefully. Ask your groomer to demonstrate the technique before you try it at home. If the pads are dry or cracked, a dog-safe paw balm makes a real difference. Apply it after walks and before bed. It absorbs quickly and is safe if your dog licks a little. Just use a dog-specific formula, not human lotion. Alright, let's pull everything together into a schedule you can actually follow and stick to. Daily, after every walk, do a quick paw wipe down and visual check for debris, cuts, or irritation. 2 to 3 times per week. Brush the coat. Daily if your dog has curly or long fur, or is a heavy shedder. Brush teeth 2 to 3 times per week minimum. Every week, do an ear check and clean if needed. Check the eye area and wipe away any discharge with a damp cloth. Every 4 to 8 weeks. Full bath based on your dog's coat type. Nail check. Trim if you hear clicking on the floor. Every 2 to 4 weeks. Nail trim for most dogs. Full grooming inspection of paws, pads, and between the toes. Seasonally, ramp up brushing in spring and fall during heavy shedding. In winter, protect paws from salt and cold. In summer, protect paws from hot pavement. Annually, a professional anesthetic dental cleaning through your vet if recommended. A full breed-specific groom at a professional salon if your dog's coat requires it. And here is the 2026 takeaway. The best groomers, professional and at home, are moving away from generic, one-size-fits-all products toward care that is matched to your dog's specific coat type, skin condition, and activity level. When you're choosing your brushes, shampoos, or nail tools, always match them to your dog, not to a label that just says all breeds. Okay, I promised you the one grooming mistake almost every dog owner makes, and here it is. They only groom reactively, not proactively. They bathe the dog when it smells. They clip nails when they're dangerously long. They clean ears only when they notice the dog shaking its head. They brush teeth only when the vet flags dental disease at the annual checkup. This reactive approach means problems have already been building for weeks, sometimes months before they're caught. And by that point, what could have been a 5-minute weekly habit becomes a vet visit, medication, or even surgery. The fix is simple. Schedule it. Put your dog's grooming routine in your phone calendar the same way you'd schedule a haircut or a dentist appointment. Consistency is the whole game here. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen regularly. Your dog cannot ask you for a dental check. They cannot tell you their ear hurts. They cannot explain that their nails are making their joints ache. You are their advocate. A consistent grooming routine is one of the most powerful things you can do to protect their health and extend their quality of life. That's your complete 2026 dog grooming routine. Coat, bath, nails, ears, teeth, and paws. Simple, science-backed, and totally doable at home. If this video helped you, I'd love it if you gave it a thumbs up. It helps this channel grow and helps more dog owners find this information. And if you have a question about your specific dog's breed or coat type, drop it in the comments below. I genuinely read them, and I'll do my best to answer. Next up, I'm doing a full deep dive into breed-specific grooming because a golden retriever's needs are nothing like a French bulldog's. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and give that pup a good scratch behind the ears from me. They've earned it.